Hey, welcome to Live from Dennis's house. Today, we are going to be doing Soul Train. We got this album. We're going to talk about this album. We're going to listen to the songs. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about Don Cornelius. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Growing up in Queens in the early 70s. And, oh, wait. First, let me show you my new guitar. Woohoo! My new Martin. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know what this has to do with Soul Train, but felt I should show everyone that. So anyway, yeah, we're going to be talking about Soul Train. This album came out in 1974, and it has all the artists from back in the day. And this song right here, I love this song, Rock You Baby by George McCrae. This guy's got a high voice. I don't know how he gets like that. Does it have something to do with testosterone or what? I don't understand how some guys have high voices and some have low. It's very painful for me. I'm going to try and hit this. Ready? Here it comes. Rock. Ah, that was painful. Oh, I didn't shat anyone's glasses out there or anything, but, you know, all right, so let's get back to this. Enough of that. This album, like I said, it came out in 1974. As seen on TV, it was $4.98. The 8-track cost $5. I don't know why that is. 8-tracks was such terrible quality. Why they were more than albums, I'll never know. But this album, I paid $2.99 for it about last year, and it's a great investment. Has everybody on here, you know, Curtis Mayfield, Isaac Hayes, Four Tops, Spinners, Staple Singers, Gladys Knight and the Pips. You know, it was awesome. Everything you ever wanted on here. Oh, let's smell it too. Let's go back. To 1974. Smells like bell bottoms and polyester. So let's talk about Soul Train now. So this show started in 1970. It was the brainchild of Don Cornelius, who was from the south side of Chicago, and he said, I want an American bandstand for black people. So he came up with this show, and it first started on the air August 17th, 1970, but it was a local show, only for Chicago. And it was huge. You know, everybody loved it. And back then it was just black and white, and they didn't even record it. It was just live, and that's why there's no archives of it now. That whole first season was completely lost. But I heard someone talking about it in an interview, and they said, oh yeah, when I was a kid, first season of Soul Train, there was 3 shows you watched after school. It was Soul Train, it was Speed Racer, and Three Stooges. Not necessarily in that order. So anyway, it was a huge hit in Chicago. So the next year, they moved the show to Hollywood, and it went national. It came live in 7 cities, and it just took off. And it's just so groundbreaking show that it's basically like a time capsule for Black America in the 70s. That they were the leaders in everything. You know, they had live musical performances. They had fashion, they had the dances, the culture, everything. From the afros and the dashikis to the high heels, platform shoes, and all the dances, you know. That the dancers on the show and the dances were basically the most important part of the show. It's just, and they launched so many careers that, did you know that Rerun from What's Happening was a dancer on the show? Jody Watley. Rosie Perez, a lot of people started their careers on this show. And then the live performances were just amazing. They had everybody who was anybody back in the day. And this was the heyday of the show and of that kind of music, is that 70 to 74, really, for me, you know, you had the soul, the R&B, the funk, and they had artists like Stevie Wonder, Aretha, Ike and Tina, Sly Stone, James Brown, Al Green, you name it, they were on there. And then even because the show took off and it actually got more popular than American Bandstand. The ratings were more popular than American Bandstand. So Dick Clark, he tried to create his own soul show called Soul Unlimited. And Jesse Jackson went berserk and said, oh, no you don't, Dick. So Dick backed off and he canceled that show after a year. But, you know, they had, the white artist that came on the show. It was David Bowie, Elton John came on. And here's a trivia question. Does anybody out there know who the first white artist to appear on Soul Train? The answer is Gino Vanelli. Yes, Gino Vanelli. All right, I don't know where that came from, but I guess Don liked it. So, you know, and it was just, everything about it was just groundbreaking. So Don Cornelius being the executive producer, there was their own, it was sponsored by Afro Sheen, a black-owned company, Johnson Products. And it was just, you know, it was a great, amazing show. And that it was on every Saturday morning. From what I hear, every black family in America was watching it Saturday morning. And the dance line, like, I gotta show this clip. It's the funniest clip. Don Cornelius was talking to doing the dance line. He ends up tripping, but that thing is so, everybody, it's iconic. Everybody knows the dance line. You know, it was all iconic Americana, time capsule, if you will, from the early 70s.
We were stunned, but we were elated at the same time, because this was actually the first time that any of the Soul Train gang got to see Don dance.
Growing up, I was never the worst dancer at the party. I was one of the guys who could throw down.
It's hard to dance and come down a lot, to move in a forward fashion. You know, Don found that out. He said, cut. That's it. And he never tried it again.
And I got to give a shout out now to my PS 181 Queens friends that I've discussed this in the past, that I went to pretty much all black school in Queens, New York. I grew up in a black neighborhood, but being a rock fan, I got I believe that's how I got my funk, my R&B, my soul, my groove. I guess that's why I'm a good dancer, and that, you know, that's why I'm in the middle here, a white kid listening to rock music, but I'm surrounded by, you know, all these other influences, and it's just nothing but fond memories. And I think that's what made me the well-rounded person that I am. And you know, just some of my best memories. PS 181, playing punch ball in the schoolyard during recess. It was a lot of good times back then. The one thing, though, everyone used to say to me, they said, "Dennis, you play too much." And that I do. So I can't argue with that. But yeah, it was just a great time growing up, early 70s. And even though it was like the worst time to be in New York City, the urban decay and the neglect, and it was like, you know, overcrowding in the schools and just so much turmoil going on. But being stupid kids, we didn't know anything about it, you know? Just listening to music and having fun time. So, what else happened? Oh, on Soul Train, the Soul Train dancers invented the moonwalk. It wasn't Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson popularized it, and he also popularized the robot in that famous scene. They were playing the dancing machine live on the show, and he started doing the robot. And then the bump was actually my favorite dance, I gotta say. It's just that, like I said, that was a heyday, 70 to 74, whatever. But then disco started coming around, and Don Cornelius, being an old school guy, he hated disco, but he said, "All right, let's make the best of it." And being the genius that he is, he took 3 of his dances and he made a disco band, and they had #1 hits. It was Shalimar featuring Jody Watley, right? So, you know, the show kept going on, and then rap came along, and he hated rap, you know, old school guy, but, you know, he said, "All right, make the best of this," and it kept going too. But I gotta say, it was very unfortunate that I saw the clip that Curtis Blow was on the show performing, and afterwards Don Cornelius comes over and starts talking to everybody, and he came out and said to Curtis Blow, "I don't know what these kids see in you, but, you know, if they like it, whatever." And I'm sure that must have crushed Curtis, you know, because he probably grew up watching the show and his parents, and he couldn't wait to be on there. And then first thing happens, Cornelius comes out and starts dissing him. But, you know, it was around this time that it started going downhill, that Don Cornelius actually had some brain surgery for some condition that he was born with, and he was never the same after that. He was a lot of pain and everything, and then he finally signed off the show. He said, "You know, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be host of the show." So he got younger hosts in there, and that was 1993, and then by 2006 the show was off the air. But oh, did you guys know that, remember that scramble board? You had the letters and you had to spell out like names of famous people, Jesse Jackson, you know, whoever, Harriet Tubman, and that was actually fixed because you notice no one ever messed it up. And Don Cornelius said, yeah, you know, we're trying to do something positive. We can't have people messing this up, spelling Martin Luther King's name wrong or something like that. So there you go. And yeah, so that was it. You know, it was a great time to grow up, great time, great TV show, and it was groundbreaking. Don Cornelius was a genius, and unfortunately he ran into hard times, you know, domestic abuse and arrest, and then he ended up committing suicide in 2012, and there'll never be another show like it. All right, so that's it. We're going out of here, and make sure you stay tuned. I got big guests next. This all ties in together. That on Tuesday I'm going to be recording with Bernard Purdie. If anybody knows who Bernard Purdie is, he is the world's most recorded drummer. He's played with all of these people. He played with James Brown. He played with Aretha Franklin. He played with Frank Sinatra. He played with the Beatles, allegedly. I don't know if he did or not, but he's played with everybody. And he's coming on my show Tuesday, and it's going to be a good show. So make sure you stay tuned. And we're out of here. So peace, love, and soul. Mwah. I'm out of here. Live from Dennis's house. See you next week.
This has been a Laughing Baby Productions.
11 points have been